Welcome to Influential Entrepreneurs, bringing you interviews with elite business leaders and experts, sharing tips and strategies for elevating your business to the next level. Here's your host, Mike Saunders.
Well, hello and welcome to this episode of Influential Entrepreneurs. This is Mike Saunders, the Authority Positioning Coach, and today we have with us Brian Sooy, who is the founder of Aespire and author of the top-rated branding and culture book, Raise Your Voice, A Cause Manifesto. Brian, welcome to the program.
Well, thanks, Mike. It's great to be here.
Hey, so I would love to start talking about just the concept of your book. I don't know how deep we want to get into it right away, but I love the aspect of cause marketing and love the Raise Your Voice, A Cause Manifesto. So give us a little background of yourself, what led you to found Aspire, and then let's merge right on into what your focus of your book is with your Cause Manifesto.
Yeah, thanks for that invitation there to do that. So my background is as a designer who now runs a marketing agency. So we focus on marketing and branding for our clients. And we know that for business owners, they would rather be serving their customers instead of worrying about branding and marketing. So we come alongside to help them. And that's been our mission for 24 years now. And we step in alongside them to help them because they often have lack of time or expertise or capacity, and they need marketing guidance. So with that, part of my work's also been in the nonprofit sector, and that's where I began with my writing for Raise Your Voice, A Cause Manifesto, and how they can engage those businesses that they're trying to reach for not board members, for fundraising, for just being part of their cause. And after all that time working with them, the idea came to me for Raise Your Voice, and just this idea is how can they get people to serve more and to engage more, to become champions for their cause?
And I would suspect that has to do with really making sure that the messaging is dialed in, because I feel like in most businesses today, that's not the case. And I also think that we as people, it doesn't matter in business or nonprofit, but we are busier than ever. So we don't have the time to even halfway pick up on the nuances of a message. So all the more reason to make sure your messaging stands out.
Absolutely. And the theme throughout all of this idea about messaging is the idea of clarity. Yeah. And having a clear vision for the business, a clear vision for what it stands for, a clear vision of its mission, so that when, as a business leader, you talk to your customers, you can clearly articulate what that is in a very short amount of time, because people drift. If you start talking about yourself too much, people are going to start to wonder, well, this is supposed to be about me, not about you. So if you're here to help me, then why are you telling me about yourself?
Let's get to it.
Right. So business owners really need to be able to quickly and clearly articulate who they are, why they matter, who they're serving, and why that group or community or tribe should care about why they're doing that.
And what do you feel clarity looks like? So when someone hears, clarify your message, to me, it just might feel like, my message is just fine. Because they're myopic, they're too close to it. But what would you say to someone that thinks their message is just fine, but you're kind of dialing in a little deeper?
Sure. So one of the first questions we always ask is as a business owner, do you understand why your customers buy from you? Because in much modern marketing training, people are taught to talk about their product, about the benefits, about the services they offer, instead of trying to understand who the customer is and why they buy from them and what problems are they trying to overcome. It's like dating in a sense when you're talking with a customer about marketing. So on a date, if you talk about yourself more, then you're going to talk about the customer's needs.
Yeah.
You might not get that second opportunity to talk to them. So it's this idea of, listen, what is the customer wanting to hear? What is it they're listening for? And it's just like with all of us. When we wake up in the morning, we're not thinking about what others are going to do for us. We're thinking about ourselves, and we wake up. We're the own hero of our own stories. And for a customer of any business, they step into our story and they think, how can you help me solve my problems? Tell me how you can solve my problems. That's what I'm listening for. And if you tell me that, I'm more likely to buy from you.
Yeah, and it's kind of like the old... oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. So you asked about what clarity is, and I think clarity is that having that clear vision for what you do, why you matter, and that's guided by your purpose and driven by the mission of your organization. But you're able to communicate that in a way that inspires people to want to achieve greater things for themselves.
And hearing that, I agree 110%. And I feel like there's some organizations or people you would work with that they, if you ask them, tell me your mission, tell me, let's make sure your messaging is dialed in, they would have trouble articulating it at all, much less very, very clear. So how do you work with someone that, is all over the place and they don't even have their own vision and mission clarified and dialed in to then start working on really condensing it down?
Well, we'll walk them through a process that we use called creating a mission script. And what that does is it walks them through 4 or 5 key points. One is, why do you do what you do? Again, that's the purpose. Who are you serving? How are you going to accomplish that? And what's that going to look like at the end? What's the impact of that going to be? And when they're able to see those things together, they start to realize that they have something very valuable. But the one thing that we ask them then to look at for that, again, is the basic why, who, what, and what it's going to look like when it's done is, okay, what about your organization is distinctive that nobody else does? So that onlyness, that uniqueness. And when they can articulate that and then turn that into their elevator pitch, and they can turn that into what I'll call their mission script. And instead of it being a mission that's put on a wall and that they ignore after that, or it's just in there guiding like the team and staff to do what they do, that mission script is what they can sit down and they can with a customer and say, when we work with you, we understand, and I'll use mine own as an example. I'll just say, I understand that leaders like you are so consumed with running your organization that you don't have the time or the expertise to create the right marketing and branding plans that work to help you grow your business. And they start to, they'll start to lean in and nod. And I'll just say, so when you partner with us to help you build that brand with clear messaging and a marketing plan that engages people, then you've taken the first step to becoming the preferred choice for customers, and you're going to see your sales increase. And they understand that the mission has shifted from here's what we do and why we do it to we're here to help you achieve your plans for growth.
Yeah, because everyone is tuned into that same old radio station, WIIFM, What's in it for me, and they want to hear about them. And just a quick little, blurb about you and your expertise, that's enough because they can look at that later. But yeah, it's too much me going on in the business world. And I'll bet you if you Googled 10 websites right now and pick different industries, golf, leadership, whatever, it's so much we, our organization, rather than wouldn't it feel great if you could achieve and accomplish blah? And then at the very end, well, we are an award-winning blah, 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 and we can help you with, let's talk. And I think that it's just, the cart's going before the horse.
Right. So
I know that
as a business, sorry.
I'm sorry. Go ahead and finish your thought.
I was just going to say, so if you step into the conversation immediately to help and demonstrate that you can help another business leader discover these key things, why their customers buy from them, how they can be the guide to help their customer overcome those challenges, then that helps you then as an organization sell your products and services. Yeah,
you're exactly right. And I know that you speak of clarity being critical for leadership. And I think we've touched on this, but I want to kind of make sure that this point is well made. It doesn't just remain on the top levels of leadership. The VP levels, the C-suite. The clarity of your message needs to be across the whole organization. So if you have this clarified message that you have on your website, that has to go into all of your levels of your organization in any of the materials. So, maybe your website, of course, but what would happen if there's some internal communications or teachings that your operations department is putting together? Wouldn't clarifying a message there be as important?
Absolutely. So if we sit down and we develop for that particular internal operations what we will then call a brand script. And a brand script, it focuses on the problems that as an organization we're trying to overcome, and everybody memorizes that brand script and they're able to recite it. They all start to speak with one voice. I like to say that upholding an organization's brand truths is everybody's responsibility. And if everybody internally is not aware of what the brand represents, and if they're not communicating it clearly, then even internally, people are going to fill in the gaps with what they believe, whether it's true or not.
And isn't it true that kind of like if you think about maybe an airplane that sets its compass on going from point A to point B, even if it's 1% off, it's not a dramatic turn, but over time, that 1% in the next 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, all of a sudden you're way off course. So in your example there, if this one department follows this brand messaging and brand script to the letter, and then another department, not so much, and the website here and there, now all of a sudden you're competing against each other, and it just kind of even subconsciously or psychologically, the public, they're kind of going, I just don't get it. You want your target audience raising a hand going, that's me, that's me.
Right, because if they're hearing two different voices from the same organization, then they're not clear on how you can help them. So if you think about, they're the character in the story that you're trying to tell, and they've got a problem, and they hear one group saying, well, here's how we help you, and the other group saying, no, here's how we help you, and you're both trying to call them to action in different ways, then they're not going to know what success looks like for them, and they might just give up and say, we're not sure which direction you want to lead us in.
Yeah, exactly. So, last question. Let's kind of really build around this conversational clarity and messaging. What do you feel like an entrepreneur or a business owner can do to get their customers to even just start listening and caring, and then most importantly, taking action? Because I feel like if you have a message that's clarified, that's all fine and good, but if you don't get your target audience to take action and do something, then nothing happens, because nothing happens until a sale is made, as they say.
Right. So the first thing they always want to do is make the customer the hero of the story and show up as a guide to help them overcome whatever business or marketing challenge they have, or to achieve whatever goal they want. So if it's a coach, the client's going to have a goal they want to achieve. Well, then they're there to help them get that. We all as business owners and entrepreneurs need to step back and stop talking about how great we are. We need to focus less on our brand and our product and services and start listening to our customers' problems. Yeah. And then demonstrating with understanding and authority and empathy how we can help them solve those problems. And there's one of my clients said, you want people just to know you care about their problems and challenges, and that you have the expertise and knowledge to help them solve them, and even sometimes teach them how to solve them. So if you come alongside not just to do, but to equip, then that's going to strengthen them over time. And then there's just a couple more. One is just to give them a plan to follow and then manage their expectations. So here's the 3 steps we'd like you to follow, and if you take these steps, here's what to expect. And then show them what success is going to look like if they work with you.
Yeah, I mean, that's just really, really great points, because if you don't have a problem to solve, then it doesn't get them off the bubble to do anything about it. And then showing them something. I've studied marketing so long, and that's kind of like having some vision of where they want to be and strive to be, and that pulls them. And if you're the one to help them get there, then that's awesome. You're not berating them for being where they are. You're explaining, how that should be in their life or their business, and then you become then that obvious choice. That's really, really super. I love that.
That's right. And if you paint a picture for them of what the future could be, and then you show them what's at stake if they don't choose to work with you, like what they could lose, then you're not quite painting the full picture. So it's this picture of, here's success, but don't forget, this is what's at stake.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like the old teachings you hear in personal development, that we're more motivated by kind of the fear of something, or the fear of missing out, or the fear of this happening, than getting something positive. So you have to have that negative aspect, because if you don't do anything at all, something could happen. If you don't take care of your, health, then something could happen. If you don't take care of this aspect in your business, something could happen, which would be this or that or the other. And so being able to articulate that is really super important.
That's right. But if you only do that, if you only talk about failure, and if you only talk about what's at stake, then you're not giving them any hope. And ultimately, we want to have a positive message of hope for our prospective customers, or for any business leader wants to be able to say, our vision is hopeful. It's not a negative one.
Yeah, because otherwise you're just focusing on so much fear that they just don't even want to listen to you, because it's like, ugh, give me a little bit of breath of fresh air here.
That's right. Because fear will immobilize, but something positive will free them.
Yeah. Well, hey, just really appreciate chatting with you today, Brian. What is the best place and location that listeners can learn more about you, your program, and see if there might be a benefit?
Well, the best place to find everything that we have going on with Aespire is at our website, and that's aespire.com, aspire.com. And there are different tools there that we offer to people to use. One is just to take a test to see what their brand clarity score is. There's a free poster of 12 principles for brand clarity that can be downloaded, and includes 52 weeks of insight around 12 different principles. So I would, again, just invite people to come to AESPIRE, aspire.com. Excellent. Well, Brian, thank you so much for your time. It was wonderful getting to know you. Thanks, you too, Mike. I really appreciate the opportunity to get to know you as well, and your great questions. Thank you.
You've been listening to Influential Entrepreneurs with Mike Saunders. To learn more about the resources mentioned on today's show, or listen to past episodes, visit www.influentialentrepreneurssradio.com.